be there and covering it will have done the other ones. So they will do comparisons to Kansas City. So there is some pressure involved. I mean, you can't turn Kansas City into Nashville overnight. You can't. I mean, we're just different.
Well, that's one of my concerns is
right.
It's not right in the middle of a bar district.
Right. It's
not.
You know,
we're not setting it up in Westport. We're not setting it up down on the plaza. We're not setting it up,
Seemingly,
even the
I don't
P&L.
think everything's confirmed yet, but the thought is it's going to be Union Station.
I thought it was confirmed it was Union Station.
I think that's
I think it's the only good spot.
I agree with that. Yeah.
But it's not a big bar district.
Right. And whether they're probably going to turn it into an open-air bar district.
Oh, yeah, they will.
They'll block it off, and they'll say that, you can sell stuff there and everything. So it will be, but right, it's not going to be the street where all the action is in Nashville. That's where they put it. That's where they put the stage. So what's the one right? Is Cleveland right before it? I'm trying to think.
Well, I don't remember the order now.
But Cleveland has
Cleveland
next year.
Cleveland is 21.
Curtis.
22 is open. They've got Vegas next year. Cleveland 21. Okay. 22 is still open. 23 is KC.
I hope that 22 becomes Detroit or something like that. Oakland. Well, it won't be Oakland, but a city like that.
Well, I do actually.
So that the next year it will be Kansas City, and everybody won't say, if it was Nashville again. I mean, Nashville's just a fantastic.
It's a really cool downtown.
Yeah. I mean, it's a super cool downtown, but even if it was Indianapolis, we know how underrated that downtown area is, and how self-contained, and so I'm hoping it's maybe something like.
You know what I hope?
What?
Glendale.
Yeah, Orange County. That would be good.
Because they got a little P&L area next to the football stadium in Glendale.
Right.
And that's it.
Right.
And the rest would be parking lot. So bring that on.
Yeah. Or Southern California. Not Los Angeles, but maybe Orange County.
Where would they? I mean,
I don't know, but who? Nobody's playing, I guess, in Orange County anymore. So,
no.
But yeah, I'm just hoping it's not a real sexy destination the year before Kansas City.
Like New Orleans.
Say it's New Orleans.
They do it at one end of Bourbon Street, and you got jazz music playing, and that's going to suck.
Right. And so just be prepared, Kansas City, and we have many great things to offer, but we are a small city, for instance, and to accommodate this gigantic crowd, they have a building that will look great on television, and a expanse of lawn that will look very good as well. But as you say, you can't stack it up to Bourbon Street or whatever 4th Street in Nashville. I don't know. I forget what the street is actually. But
can you? How about the snow and the ice that we've had like 2 of the last 3 years during that time? The rain.
That would suck.
The mud puddle, the mud slides coming down. Like I gave some thought. Like, what if the weather sucks?
Yeah, there's no guarantee.
We can have some suck weather.
Yeah, we can. Yeah,
and that's one of the things that draft. Like they backed it into April.
Yeah, like Philadelphia, they had rain, didn't they?
They what was the date? About April 15th?
Well, it rained in Nashville this year for the first round.
But they were all standing on a street.
Right.
They weren't standing on a lawn.
True.
But it's going to turn into Woodstock.
I know. So there, people have. You have to do it
there are
right.
Challenges,
and you're going to get comparison shopping and writing by.
How about it's abnormally warm and we get a tornado warning?
True. Don't usually get that in the city per se, but
well, warnings, sirens go off in the town.
That's true.
I'm just saying. Listen, these are all things that I'm sure they've thought about. Like, what's our backup plan?
Yeah, and then there's this. Like I said, this is nothing but a great thing. These challenges can
Agreed.
be met. These challenges can be met. There probably will be a lot of articles about how Kansas City is a great undiscovered treasure, that I went to places I never thought of. But there also will be, boy, this sucked. We were in New Orleans last year, and
I was knee-deep in mud on a hill.
And there'll be a cartoon of a guy sleeping next to some ribs or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But good get for Kansas City.
It is a great
Kathy
get.
Nelson and all those people
yes,
who work
absolutely.
So hard.
I agree wholeheartedly. Let's just hope we get some good weather and it's a huge hit.
Right.
Let's take a break.
Let's hope I'm alive then.
We will. I'm 50-50 I'm going to put it at, Danny.
Exactly.
50-50. Let's take a break.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
We're here with Joe Spiker, the president of Easton Roofing. And Joe, you worked for other companies in the construction industry. What inspired you to start your own company in Easton Roofing?
Well, you know, Danny, when you are working for somebody else, you oftentimes don't get to see the project through from beginning to end, and you don't get the final control over the customer experience. And I wanted to build a place where people can come and get work done on their house and not have to worry about being treated the wrong way and get a good customer service experience start to finish.
The company slogan is "Where Integrity Matters." Why is that so particularly important to you?
Well, for us, what that means is treating each other with respect at work, treating our clients with respect, and making the right choice, especially when no one's looking. So when you're presented all the time as a contractor with choices that have to be made, are you going to make more money on this if you cut a corner? And we just wanted to make a place and a slogan that said to our people and to whoever is our customer, we're not going to do that. We're going to make the right choice regardless of profit.
Easton Roofing, where integrity matters.
Danny, of course, always brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing. Find them online at eastonroofing.com.
And today is Kansas City Profiles presented by Easton Roofing at DannyClinkscale.com. And a little different twist today. The profile is me being interviewed on a national online radio program this week. This week, actually, next week coincides with the trip I made 4 years ago, which inspired the epic bestseller, Leaving Cancer for the Circus. So,
Still on the New York Times bestseller list, is it not?
Absolutely, yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Okay.
And people, and somebody reached out with me, a person with Kansas City connections. His name is Terry Runyon, and he has a program on something called Blog Talk Radio, and he did an interview with me, and I thought it was appropriate to revisit that. So if you know the story, you can revisit it. If you don't know the story in detail of what I up and did 4 years ago, that'll be available today at DannyClinkscale.com as of about 3 o'clock.
All right, want to get to some breaking news. Curtis, you've got the story in front of you. Dennis Dodd reporting that we're going to find out what is the verdict on Silvio De Souza quite soon. Is that correct?
Yeah, says Kansas had an appeal hearing Friday with the NCAA regarding the reinstatement of forward Silvio De Souza. A resolution is expected in, quote, a matter of hours, not days. The telephone hearing came 5 days before the NCAA's Wednesday deadline for players who have declared for the NBA draft to return to college. De Souza declared for the draft in April, but said he would return to Kansas if the appeal is won. One note here, Kelly Zinn, chair of the NCAA Student-Athlete Reinstatement Committee, recused herself from the hearing because of a possible perception of a conflict. She works as an executive senior associate AD at West Virginia. So we may know today what's up with De Souza.
Same conference.
Same conference? Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that's the idea there.
Well, also, there may have been the perception that she would vote against so that he wouldn't play against West Virginia.
I think that's
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah. That's her interest.
Right.
That's where she could theoretically have an interest, so now she doesn't vote. Is that good or bad if she's recusing herself? Tends to make me think that he's not, like, if I were to read just that, which maybe this is just, hey, we compete with them. Best thing is for no shenanigans. I just step away. Everybody else makes the call. I believe that there are people that are genuinely honest people. I'd like to believe I'm one of those persons that would give you a genuine, honest answer and not seek my own self-interest, what's best for my own self-interest. But I think we're all human, and you got to say, listen, just in case, I'm going to check out. Let's go to the other point. If you want to Oliver Stone it, right, conspiracy theory, she knows he's going to get the no-go anyway. She's going to step out, and so then you can't blame it on her.
Right.
And, well, West Virginia didn't just shoot him down.
I think this is a very interesting case study. I think a lot of people feel – I think the idea that Silvio De Souza is a hapless victim in this thing is a little overdone. I think the whole narrative of the fact that him announcing that he would definitely come back to Kansas if he was approved is calculated. I don't necessarily even believe that for sure. Because what they're kind of
what do you mean for sure? Like 95% or 50-50?
I think it's more likely than not, but I don't think it's like certain. I think his statement that it's certain he will come back for the to Kansas if he's approved is part of trying to build the case that this is somebody who really cares about his education.
No.
To,
okay, so from that standpoint, I'm on the same page with you. I absolutely think he's going to come back if he gets his eligibility, but I think the inspiration is it's the best place for him to enhance his draft status. Right? If you want me, no, I don't think it's. I can't wait to get to that, that Psych 200 level class. No, I don't think that's it. I don't. I think, my degree is first and foremost. No, I think he's making that decision because it's the best place for him to enhance his basketball
All I'm
skills.
saying is that if during this process, this year, he was going to the combine and blowing up and everything, he'd go to the draft.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I agree. Oh no, it's absolutely
It's a basketball-oriented decision.
Yes, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
I went to college to get a broadcasting degree.
Yeah,
that's why I went to Syracuse, and
absolutely nothing wrong with it at all.
it was
And
ESPN's fault for not hiring me after my sophomore season. That's their fault.
Well, off the air, I'll tell you the reason why you didn't get hired.
I'll give you a lot of reasons.
But I think that this is a difficult one because I think for Kansas fans or supporters of Silvio De Sousa, they think that this is all cut and dried. He didn't know. How do you just create a situation, and I've talked about this before, where it would be deemed okay for somebody who is a close associate of the player to take money and work in the behalf of getting money, and the player has no consequence. He just gets to play. I mean, then every player would basically have.
It's already happening. That precedent's already been set. It's the Cam Newton case.
Right, and they said and that's the thing that's definitely in favor of De Sousa here, because they said Cam didn't know anything. But I think that was the wrong decision, to be honest. Now, in this case, I'm not saying that De Sousa knew or that he, was just gave himself plausible deniability. He may be completely innocent in this. But what you've created is a scenario where people could actively go out and seek funds, and then with the knowledge that the player could be absolved. Now, he's already missed a considerable amount of time. The severity of the penalty, I think, is as much being argued here as the penalty itself, because he's already been punished. But to just say, okay, it's okay, your guardian took a bunch of money, but you didn't know, so you can play. I mean, that's what they'd be deciding. So I think it's quite complicated. I think it's more complicated than people who are supporting De Sousa and the Kansas side are making it out to be. That's all.
Oh, I think it's more complicated than the ones that are. I think it's more complicated than both sides that are dug in.
Right.
I don't think the ones that think he shouldn't play have nailed it. They've got a complete, pure grasp of the situation. I think you've got what I hear is you're a Kansas fan, he ought to be playing.
Right.
You're not a Kansas fan,
Exactly.
to hell with him. He's a cheater and everything that's wrong with basketball. That's what I hear out there.
Right.
Okay. And listen.
And he may end up being.
Only those of us in the media are supposed to be above that.
And he may end up being a victim of a message they're trying to send. I mean, what we've heard from Condoleezza Rice and all this other stuff is that we are going to, the landscape's going to change. And he may be part of the victimization of the landscape.
I agree.
I mean, and I'm not going to feel horrendous for the guy. He's going to make money playing basketball in his life. This is not somebody whose life is being ruined here. I mean, it's not. So is he going? He can still go to school if he wants.
But I think it is. I think
they're going to keep him on scholarship.
I think it is fair for Kansas fans to say he is not getting the same treatment that other people in a similar situation got.
I agree with that, but the landscape is changing, and they're saying it's going to be changing.
Yes, but that does not change
Sure.
the fact that I think it's reasonable to say when you compare his situation to Cam Newton's situation,
Sure.
that he is getting the short end of the stick. Now, again, well, then don't be involved in the pay-for-play
Right.
in any way, shape, or form. Well, he didn't know. Well, I know, and it sucks. It sucks.
Right.
I'm sure somewhere there is somebody in the German army that initially didn't know what was going on in World War II.
Right.
All right, but Germany still sucked. Okay, that was a bad deal because some people didn't know everything that was going on. Sorry, you're involved in a bad situation, even without you knowing. And sometimes you get attacked and fight a war and die because of it. Okay, so listen, and that's a huge leap, but I'm just trying to make the point of where it is, because To me, it's all shades of gray.
Right.
Right.
And also, it's to say, to me, also, to just say unequivocally he didn't know, you're saying he didn't.